Hello. So it's just gone past 8:30 on the 11th of February, and actually, I'm going to start with the end. And pardon me, I'm going to absolutely milk this wonderful feeling. And actually, I just ask you to join me with it. As I sit here, I just came back from outside from my morning walk, which was fantastic. It's absolutely blizzardy out there, and it's wonderful. But then I walked in the door, and with all the amazing stuff that's already happened this morning, I'm just like, okay, let's just keep going, bring it on. And I don't know if you can hear, but as I was preparing my coffee, there was my dear flatmate plucking away at his guitar, and so I went over, and I was humming along to it, and I went over, and he told me what he was playing, "Let There Be Peace on Earth," and which he picked up from, I can't think, where did he pick it up from? A spiritualist church. It's the most beautiful thing, and then he just sang the whole thing, and it's let there be peace on earth, but let it start with me. Let me vow that I do it, and that's it. That's it. I could finish the video right here, but I'm going to carry on because I do want to milk this wonderful feeling, and I wish for you to be part of it with me. So and actually, it's so interesting because music is so much a part of it. It is so much a part of the goodness that I'm feeling right now. It's connected very much with spirit, and specifically with people that have passed over into the unseen realm, into pure positive energy, as I love to say it. As I love to believe it and know it, and it starts with my great uncle, who I have just learned this. Actually, let's put this sort of in order. My great uncle was a classical musician and he toured throughout Africa, places in Africa and India. I don't know where else. I did not know that until about 2-3 weeks ago. I didn't know his sort of African connection, and I didn't know that he toured India. I didn't know actually how incredible he was. And I had the good fortune of learning from him. That was many years ago when I was a bit of a rebel, and maybe it wasn't the most interesting thing. Actually, I don't even remember. I enjoyed the music and learning, and he taught my sister and I how to compose. I mean, and it was all just in a summer. It was over one summer when he was visiting Canada from England, his home, and learned a few things, a few rags, let's call them, and every time when I'm over at my parents' house, and if they're listening, well, they're always listening to kirtan, hymns from the Sikh Bible, and sometimes there'll be one that's called or it's a genre. I don't even know. My I don't know, but what I do know is that it's a basant rag, and that is it tears me up every time. Tears, sorry, not tears, tears me up every time, and not because I'm happy or sad, just because of this insane resonance with it, that I just feel. And that, I mean, I'm sure you've experienced that too, where you hear music and it runs through your blood, it courses right through, and you need to get up and dance. I'm that way with Latin music, actually. I used to be that way with actually I still am with like Punjabi Bhangra and stuff like that. But yeah, as soon as I hear it, it's like I gotta move, I gotta dance. Anyways, so yeah, really interesting. I just learned that um, that Ustad Udham Singh Devsi was, that that he was touring through Nairobi, and there's quite an African connection with my father's side of the family, that, and actually my great uncle was on his mother's side, but I didn't really know this, and I was quite ignorant of it. And then I just started asking questions. And then, I've never been able to find his music on Google or anything, but I looked something up a few days ago, and I found an article that included him, and I learned who his master, or he called him his guru, was a gentleman by the name of Asa Singh in Nairobi, and I think he started a musical school there, a music school, so all of this, I mean, it's fascinating. So, I sent a message over to my dad. I found this article and I did a screenshot and I circled it and I said, is this Mamaji, which is the polite way to say uncle. And he wrote back and he said, yes. And actually he went by a completely different name, which I never knew about. And so anyways, my father knows my interest in this. And so he messages his cousin in England, who happens to be the grandson. And we're just getting along beautifully. And, it turns out that the grandson and his brother, well, the whole family was musically inclined, and they would all learn from their granddad when they were younger, like an hour and a half of music every single day. And so this is all really interesting for me, and I'm laughing to and at myself. I'll tell you why in a moment. So yeah, now I'm in touch with both the brothers, and one of whom was so musically inclined that he taught himself how to play violin, and which is not abnormal, I would say, for someone who's musically inclined. But he also was so good at it that he played with the late now, the Indian folk will know this, Lata Mangeshkar, who was, well, if you've ever watched a Bollywood film, she is the voice of the female singer in like every song. You'll notice that it's generally the same, and perhaps I would say 70s, 80s, 90s. I don't know how, I don't know when she transitioned. I think she did transition. Anyways, all very interesting. So one of the brothers is digging up old music, which I'm so excited to hear, because to be fair, I didn't quite, my appreciation for not just the music, but even my uncle only has come in the last years, as I was traversing the world and unlearning myself, and allowing myself the space to learn new things, and music has music and art always a part of it. I learned actually, this is funny, I learned a few years ago that my mum's father was quite the poet. I had no idea. And there I am. I've written my share of poetry and still do, which oftentimes I don't share, but I love it. I love rhyme. I love music. I love art. I am I picked up all the arts from both sides of my family. It seems, mom being the tailor, and I went through and did the fashion design, which I love. It's I'm as passionate about that as I am food and music as well. So anyways, let's go back to music. Yeah, one of the brothers is digging up old music. How wonderful. And then, I'm speaking to my father the other day. It was his birthday, and we were talking about spirit and how, like, I'm gonna say, not unfortunately, because that's not what I wish to say. There is a word that doesn't come to mind now. His own father transitioned on the very day of my father's birth. Now, he transitioned 26 years ago, of course it was very sad. But I'm saying, what Dad and I were saying was that, anytime we are talking of them, anyone who's passed on into the spirit realm, back to pure positive energy, anytime we're talking about them, they are right here with us. They're not gone, and so even so there, is and I told him a story which actually I won't share, but it was recently, well, I won't share the whole story, but it was recently when there was an instant where I was looking at my father and I saw the little boy in him, and his father at the same time, while he stood there facing me. And in that moment, mountains moved, stories fell apart, worlds fell apart, and it was just this incredible, beautiful thing that happened. And I didn't tell him that. That was about a month ago, actually. So I did tell him that, and I thought to myself, well, I hadn't meant to, but I thought, well, I don't think there's a greater gift that I can give him for his birth, to celebrate his birth, that is. And so yeah, we were just chatting there and saying how, like, spirit is not gone, and that death is, we don't have this conversation enough. Again, it's a taboo subject. Here we are all afraid of dying from a virus, but it's okay to, I'm just going to eat whatever I want, and I'll die when I die, and if I'll suffer later, but I'm going to eat my oily, greasy food, and I don't care, or I'm going to drink, and all things we deem as bad. I'm not saying those things are bad, right? But all things we judge ourselves for. But then when it comes to actual death, it's this, well, it is what it is. For me, it's really not, and I've said to my family, like, look, when I pass, I need to know, how funny, how to reach you. How should I reach you? Because for me, I say, look, when you pass, if it's before me, then come to me through my writing, come to me through birds, actually. And that's why I'm wearing this, because there's a beautiful story with this, which I'll share as well. So yeah, all that to say, going from my father to his uncle, his uncle is with us, and his uncle is shining loud. It's like, it's the law of attraction, that which you talk about and you think about comes to you. The universe is like, oh yeah, you want that, whether it be good or bad, whatever we deem as good or bad, we just keep getting more of. So and then if you're stuck in your life with something, well, you can probably correlate your thoughts to what you keep projecting. Do you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. Anyways, I'm going to go back to, so there's my great uncle, who's now, I was asking questions to my father, and and now it's unfolding, it's developing, and that's the universe saying, you want more? I'll give you more. All right, baby. All right. And and I reconnected, but a dear old love the other day, who, when I was with him, and he's a, to call him a musician is it's an understatement. Genius, absolute genius, composer, conductor, bass guitarist, everything is incredible. he was always saying to me, because I was always like singing in the house and, whistling and whatever. And he was always like, you're a musician, you're a natural musician. And I'm going to get you, I'm going to record you one day. And I don't know if he ever did without me knowing it. But anyways, there was always that. It's always been there. Music is yeah, I guess it courses through my blood as well. And well, yeah, art in general, but recently it was funny. It's fantastic to hear that one of my brothers there, the grandsons of this great musical talent, he taught himself how to play violin. And it's only been recently, I would say in the last year, as I look at my guitar, that I finally picked one up on purpose. I'd always picked them up and was like, nah, I can't do that. It didn't make sense to me like a piano or harmonium or drums do. Just didn't make sense. And so finally it has. And this is stuff that I don't share. I make music and I just make it for me. I love it. And it's cathartic, and it makes me feel good. So I do. So isn't it, that's just wonderful. There's Bravin downstairs, picking away, playing, Let's Heal the World. Or I can't remember now the name of the song, but which is totally up my alley. And I was so appreciative. He sang the whole thing, and I said, yeah, just super happy, just standing there, just taking it in, taking it in. I thought, yeah, next time I'll join you. This is fun. This is really fun. This is so fantastic. So, let's go back to spirit. Let's go to spirit. Let's go there, because we're in a time where so many people have transitioned, and oh, there we go. God bless them. Stand Up Canada, really Paula Tucci, who's behind in collaboration with Pastor Hildebrand, who's been completely dredged through the mud in the last couple of years. Well, we all have, haven't we? But anyways, there they are, tomorrow evening, holding a memorial service on, oh, I think you might be able to hear my belly rumbling. Anyways, so it is. They're holding a memorial service for all those who have transitioned over the last 2 years. And it's going to be fantastic. And isn't this what we need right now? Is just to celebrate life, rather than to focus on death, and just be together. It's the common, well, it's science, isn't it, that like, to put someone in isolation is to kill them, really. I use my own words, but just, jumping from that thought to the next one, whilst I was working at Stand Up Canada, I was hearing all kinds of horrible stuff. And, one of the things that I did come across was that people in long-term care facilities, there was an increase in euthanasia. And they fill out a survey before they're euthanized. And the number one reason for them wanting to leave their body in the physical plane is because of isolation. So really, God bless them, can I say? And then again, going back to spirit, we don't finish here, right? We carry on. If I have a heart attack right now, it's okay. And my body falls, and my spirit rises, and that's it. That's the way I see it. Death does not scare me. It's part of the whole. And in fact, that is up for controversy with the readings that I do from the life and teaching of the Masters of the Far East. And actually, I direct you to, I've just got back onto recording. It's from the third book, and it doesn't matter if you've not read the first two, but the third book, chapter, I believe it's chapter 12, from chapter 12, 11, 12, are so incredible. They're so incredible. Doesn't matter what you believe, what religion you believe, or whatever. Don't you want to believe that, like, that we are eternal, that we do go on and on and on? Don't you want to believe that? Don't you want to believe that, we're not meant to be punished, that God doesn't sit in a big throne as looking like a dude with a big beard, and punishing people? Don't you want to believe that God is good, that we actually are born in the image and likeness of him, of that, and we have all the potential that that our creator does. So anyways, back to spirit, it's just so phenomenal when you, and I'm sharing this with you on purpose to seed this in your mind, because the thing is, what I was thinking this morning while I was walking, is that, and Dad used to say this quite often, because I would have, like, feelings of his father being around by a smell. So for me, it's a really simple thing. Is I don't need to see spirit. I feel. I'm a feeler. I think I've said that before. I feel things, and it'll be, or smell things. It'll be a smell of, like, wood burning on Tudor Road, where we used to live in England, and that reminds me of Granddad. And in that moment, I'm like, oh, thank you, and I have a conversation with him, and there's no, like, him visible, but it's him, what I feel in my heart, and then I just feel better than I did in the moments preceding, and even if I felt good, so does that make sense? That, like, we're often looking for the visual, and that's what hampers us from receiving, because you're like, oh man, no one ever comes to me. And I remember Dad having said that, like, about a year or two ago. He's like, oh, I never see anything, I don't have dreams. And I was like, but you just got to be open, spirit is always trying to get our attention, always. But when we're in a state of missing them and wishing they were with us when actually they are with us, then we keep them away from us. Do you know what I mean? It's just like God. If we if when we're not, let's put it this way, when we're not feeling good, when we're feeling in a state of unhappy and unloving, unloved, then all the good is kept away from us, all the God is kept away from us. Not because God is like, no, you need to raise your vibration, and you need to, it's not that God's always there. God is always there, waiting for our return. So when we miss someone or something that's passed on, or even a physical object, that puts us in a state of lack. It's a lack of that thing, and that's it's a lack mentality. So how can we receive if we're in a sort of low vibration? That's what I mean to say. And we've just got to climb the ladder, the vibratory ladder, and get ourselves in a good place to be able to receive. And that's why I make these videos, because I can't tell you, like, I milk it, and right now I'm milking feeling good by just being here and sharing with you. I haven't done my editing for this morning, because I was like, I just want this to increase. And isn't that what God says? Don't doubt, ask more. Right. And that's like, when I go outside, surprise me. No, there was a beautiful, really hungry apparently. There was a beautiful exchange that I had with three beautiful souls, a couple and their dog. And the woman was like, as I was approaching, because it's very blustery and slippery and all that kind of stuff outside, and she was like, watch out when you're walking along the sidewalk, because that side is really slippery, blah 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 blah, whatever. And I was just like, thank you so much, it's really lovely. And she's like, we've nearly wiped out. And I said, I know. And so there we are talking, and the dog is very excited, and sort of jumps over a bit of a pile of snow, but then it slips and the dog actually falls. It's a really neat thing. And you know as we were walking away from each other, wishing each other a lovely day and all that stuff, I turned around and I said, the dog took the fall for all of us. And we had a giggle about it, and then we carried on. I was like, why did I say that? The dog took the fall. That's not nice to say. And then I was like, because I didn't think about it, it just came out. But then I allowed myself to walk into that thought, and actually I was like, wait, but the dog didn't die or anything. The dog's still here. Dog fell and got right back up and just carried on. Dog isn't like, oh God, I fell, I'm so embarrassed and ashamed, da 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 da, all that kind of stuff. It's not like that. And my mind immediately went to Jesus. Jesus took the fall for all of us, got right back up, carried on. That was his message, wasn't it? Is his message. So anyways, Spirit, always with us, never apart. Get yourself into a good feeling place on a regular basis. It's not like I'm gonna like feel good for 7 days and then let's see what happens. Don't take away the let's see what happens. Just feel good. Just do your best to feel good. Anyways, and actually just before I'd seen, those three beautiful souls, I had been, I'd nearly slipped, like good proper slipped, or nearly fell a few times. And I was like, oh, I better, I'll head back. And then I thought to myself, no, there is nothing but God. And I just kept repeating it. And, should I slip, I will fly rather than fall, which reminded me of a Nikola Tesla story. And he did just that. He was walking along, slipped, and did like a complete flip in the air. And he was quite advanced in his years. And someone came running from across the road and said, it was so surprised that he was able to do that because he wasn't 7 or 17 years old, and he just did it like that. So I was like, okay, all right, Nikola Tesla is with me now. Do you know what I mean? And this is the way I play, and this is the way I want you to play. We have everything at our access, at our fingertips for us to access. Everything is ready and waiting for us in this space just about us. So I think I've said what I wanted to, but there's the feather, which has a beautiful story. So I'm walking along the other day, and I approach. I'm walking along the river, and sometimes when I get to a specific part, because there's a lot of ducks around, I am gifted with duck feathers, which are so beautiful. And actually the other day, as I was stood there, it was so lovely. As I was stood there, there was a male duck that came and sat like not even a meter away from where I was stood. And then a few more started to come up, and I was just beaming. I was just so happy about that. Anyways, so yeah, I'm gifted their lovely feathers all the time. And so just a couple of days ago, I'm walking along, and I pick up this one, which was sort of sniffed out by a wee puppy called Max. Just another lovely encounter. So I picked this up and put it in my pocket. I didn't even look at it, but I knew it was beautiful, of course. And then I get home, and
and there's no feather in my pocket. I thought to myself, oh, okay, probably when I put my hand in my pocket and I pulled it out, the feather went flying out. And so I was like, okay, all right, I lost it. And then I went back and I thought, because I checked it very well, and I went back and checked it very well, like 2 more times. Yesterday, the day following, and the same day. I was like, it's not there. Just let it be, let it be. And I laughed to myself, thinking, it's going to turn up. That feather is going to be right in that pocket. You've got to let go of trying to find it. And sure enough, this morning, as I'm about to go out for my walk, I put my hand in that pocket why? I don't even remember why. There was no need to. And out came this guy. Check that out. How beautiful. How beautiful. Right there, gingerly, at the very top of my pocket, right? And I share that story with you because, again, that's about spirit playing hide and seek. That's about like hide and seek. I don't know if let's call it hide and seek, spirit's playful. You can't be like, someone said to me, I was, I out for a walk. This is really funny. Someone said, I just met him, a really lovely gentleman, who I just met. We had a beautiful conversation, and at the end of it, he says, I can't remember what. Oh, it was before I moved out of my parents' home, and he's like, well, how long are you going to be there? Because we're in the same neighborhood. And I said, until I'm not. And then just had a giggle, and he's like, oh, there's a great deal of what's the word, mischief in that giggle. And I said, well, I was born in the likeness and image of the creator. So there we are. God is a cheek. I said that. We both had a very big laugh. I don't know if he believes in God or not, or I didn't know. And anyways, just fun. Do you know what I mean? It's have fun. Just have fun with it all. So anyways, that happened. And look, while I'm sharing that story, I am going to share another one because this is so super cool. While I was studying fashion, I made a really neat, we had a segment where we were working with leather. So I made like a bustier. It was very sort of Latin. And I made a bustier out of leather, and we had to make it in muslin and out of cotton first, or sort of rough draft, and just to nail it before we did it in the actual skin. And I loved it. I really loved it. It was probably one of my best pieces that I did. And it was so different. People did coats and things and whatever, but it was so different. And anyway, so I kept the muslin part, the rough draft. I took it with me in my travels when I moved back to England in whatever 2004 or 5, and it went with me, everywhere really. And I always with the intention of, I'm going to take this apart and remake it in a different, not in leather, in something else, something really beautiful, like a jacquard or something. I don't know. It's got the boning in it and everything. It's beautiful. And then somewhere along the lines, I lost it, or so I thought. And yeah, you know where this goes. One day it was there, just gingerly on the top of a pile. Now, it's not magic and it's not miracles, but it is thought. It's absolutely, and it's letting go of the need for that thing at that very moment. So like, for example, if you've misplaced something, anything, just see it as a hide and seek, with the universe. And even if you really think, because I did, I was like, oh, I must have pulled this feather out with my hand and lost it outside. I was like, that could be, that's one of the potentials. Or when I play with my mind, then it's right where it's meant to be, and it comes back into my presence. So even if you really think that you've lost something, it always has the potential of finding you again, always. You just need to come into resonance with that thing. This is going to be a long video, actually. I've got to share this because this is really neat. Actually, two more stories. One is about this feather. So when my grandmother, my father's mother, transitioned, I was living in Slovakia at the time, and I saw a flock of magpie, which seems odd, and even I thought it to be odd, like a flock of magpie. Beautiful, beautiful creature, beautiful bird, so that was while I was in Slovakia. And then I went, not for the funeral, but to England. I knew I was going to miss the funeral. I don't particularly like funerals, but my parents were going to be there from Canada, so and my brother and sister, all who were living in Canada, and I thought, wow, let's just go and see everybody, because it's not often that I do or did. And so anyways, I was sleeping in a space that was quite out in the open, because there were, my parents were there, and there was only so many rooms in the house. So I was actually sleeping downstairs, like opposite the sort of dining table, which was very uncomfortable, but it was what it was. And happy to be sleeping somewhere, in proximity to my family. And so anyways, I'm in the open and very conscious of that. And I go to bed early and I wake up early. So things are still going on around as I'm, making my fall into sleep. Anyhow, I get there, and at some point I'm on a bed, a different bed than what I think I was sleeping on a sofa bed, but this was like a queen size, this big bed. And I'm there on the bed, and it's all white around me. At first, there's the family, and then the family disappears. The family that's in the house at present, so my parents and aunt and uncle, and then they're gone. And it's just me sat on this bed, and it's all white around me. And then a bird lands on my shoulder, on my right shoulder, and it's a magpie. And I look over and I say, "Is that you? Is that you, BG?" is what we call our grandmother. And the bird starts to flap wildly. That was that. So you cannot imagine the collection of feathers I have. And she really, what I say about grandma is that she really gave me her wings, sort of in life, and things really opened up for me, not immediately, but got so much better than they had been. So really super in touch, let's say. So every time I come across feathers, it's really grandma. What can I say? So I encourage you to do this with yourself. It might sound really crazy, but give it a go. What have you got to lose? You don't have to tell anyone. You don't have to speak out loud. You don't, this is all stuff I've been doing for years and years. And I'm sure if I had spoken this aloud with people at the time, they'd have said, "You're bonkers." In fact, people probably still think I'm bonkers. And that's okay. Look at me. I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Anyways, I want to finish with a story, and this takes on a bit of a serious tone. Something happened to me when I was a child, and I remembered last night it sort of came to me, and I talk about having panic attacks, which I didn't really put a word to until in the last year of this whole COVIDery, and realized that actually this thing happens to me, get very anxious and very, and I need to, I turn to food, sometimes, not much anymore, and which is awesome, and actually different story, but so I had I recalled a time when I was a child, and I panicked greatly, and perhaps it was the first time, I don't know, but this was a really big one. I won't describe exactly what it was that, or maybe I will. Okay, let's tell the story. So we were at somebody's house. I was between, I would say, 4 and 6. I'm not, maybe 5, 6 actually, because we had moved from England, and so yeah, we're visiting friends, and I really needed to go to the loo. I really needed to poo, actually, and someone was in the bathroom, and to my knowledge there was only one bathroom, and I was really nervous and anxious and panicky, and I think I knocked on the door, from what memory tells me, and whoever was inside didn't come out and didn't say anything, and I was really panicking. I really had to go, and so I went in a bedroom, and I pooed in a garbage bin. And I didn't tell anyone about it. I don't think, because I would have gotten trouble, like really big trouble. So I'm laughing at it. It is funny. However, I have a feeling that was a source of a lot of current panic. I wasn't looking for any source. I don't analyze why. I just talk to the child in me every time and let her feel safe, however, so it was really interesting that this was coming up, and I was like, okay, keep going, and I was talking to that child. And then actually what I did, and I can't remember, it was Greg Braden or Bruce Lipton where I picked this up. Oh God, and they're not the first people where I've heard this from, but again, I heard this very recently, that we, especially now in this current time-space reality, have the opportunity, because when everything exists in vibration, we have access to everything. If we have access to spirit, which is just a specific frequency vibration, and we associate them as a person, and we have access to them, though they're not here, that we have access to anything, everything, times, places, spaces, whatever. So taking that, which I just heard, again, was reminded of a few days ago, I was like, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to hold her hand, and I'm going to take her to the loo. So first it was sort of like a normal scene. I knocked on the door, and it was like, I really got to go poo, and it's, like me, and then me, the child, and so not being nervous and ashamed and afraid to just voice my need. And so I'm me, as me, standing beside little me, just holding her hand, like so and then I was like, wait a second, this is my game, and I can totally shape this as I wish to. So what I did was, instead of going to that bathroom that was in my memory, I was like, sweetheart, come. First, so I'm coming up the stairs, she's panicking, and, I breathe with her. I get her to calm down. So 3 big breaths, and then she's calm. And actually, no, that was when I was going to take her to the usual bathroom. But then what I do when I change things is I walk up the stairs and I see that she's in a panic, and I take her hand and I hold her, and we go to a different room, and a room that I didn't know about, and it's a master suite. And in that master suite is the master bedroom. And it's the most beautiful, elegant bathroom that you could ever imagine. It's the size of maybe this floor. And it's fit for a queen. So I treat my little me, my wee little me, like a queen. I help her go to the loo, we wash up in the big, in the big tub that's got the old school tub, like fit for a queen, with the lion's paws, that kind of tub, and then I give her a little robe. I wrap her up with a towel. She's happy, I'm happy, changing the vibration essentially. We're changing a lot. And then, and that's it. That's how it ended. And I fell asleep. So I don't think I've ever shared anything like that. And so let's finish by saying spirit is not separate. If you've just said farewell to somebody who's transitioned, the moment you can accept anything that I'm saying, that they're not gone, that they've only just come out of their bodies, but now we have more access to them. When we don't miss them, when we miss them, we keep them away. But when we talk to them, love them as though they're right there, they are right there. And interestingly enough, it's not just those that we know, right? Why would it be just that? Why, when, in this seemingly empty space, all potentials exist, all things exist. So that to say, a friend was telling me about his uncle who's transitioned recently, and he told me stories about him, and oh man, this man was amazing, is amazing. So I suggested to my friend to just speak with him, because he was like, he's got such drive, and ambition, and he just, if anyone sort of got it right in life, it was him. And I said, well, talk to him, ask him how ask him to help you with your self-discipline, and then I thought to myself, I'm going to talk to him. Why not? This is the thing, when someone passes over into the spirit realm, any and everyone has access to them. So yeah, Nikola Tesla, Jesus, George Michael, whatever, whoever, go for it, reach for it, use your mind. Oh, I'm going to tell you one last thing. So in the moments that I woke up this morning, what came to me really loudly was, everybody's a channel. And doesn't that make sense? So actually, let me just rewind for a second. You go to people who channel spirit and whatever, right? That's what I mean by channels. But actually, there is like a very sort of technical, sciencey part to that. Like, we are, so just like, just like the tuner on a radio. If you go to 98 FM, that's different from 640 AM, right? So we are all individual channels in this collective consciousness, and we're playing our own song. So when someone says they are a channel and they receive, from the Z's or Cryon or, Abraham or whatever name that they're given, the White Wing Collective of 9, I don't have a name for mine, and maybe I'll make one. Actually, now one will come. I'm sure of it. And I'll share that with you at a different time because I'm open to that, you know. But we're all channeling. That's what our reality. Right now I'm channeling. And I am just one station on the grand radio of life or television. That's all it is. It's really simple. And it's scientific. It's awesome. It's no different than a radio frequency, except we're a visual frequency. And you hear, right? And smell and taste and touch and whatever. So we're much more than just a radio frequency. Isn't that cool? Isn't that fantastic? I leave you with that. I'm done. I'm done. Thank you for coming along, and just have fun, would you? Have fun and play with your life. Play with it. It just gets better and better. God bless you. I love you. Bye for now.